So what does it actually take to trade the market for a profit? Is it even possible? I have people ask me this all the time. They say, can you really make money trading? Is the market too manipulated? High frequency traders, big institutions, don't they mess it up for everybody? I'm going to share with you in this video 3 keys to making money in the market so that you can trade profitably. Ready? Let's go. Hello, everybody. It's Jeremy Whaley here from Trade Maestro. You can check us out over at trademaestro.com. Get yourself subscribed over there to our email list so you can get an alert every time we do these videos and send stuff out. In this session, I want to talk about 3 keys to trading profitably. And as I said in the opening, this is a question that a lot of people have. Is it possible? Is it even possible to trade the market and make a profit? A lot of people think that you can't. A lot of people think the stock market is gambling. A lot of people think that it's random luck. A lot of people think that because of high frequency trading or because of the big institutions that it's impossible for the little guy like you to trade and make a profit. And I'm going to tell you that is a myth. That is not true. The reality is anybody can trade the market. Anybody can trade it. Anybody really can trade it and make a profit if you have a few pieces in place and you know what you're doing. And ironically, it really doesn't even matter so much which stock you trade or which ETF you trade. It kind of doesn't matter as long as that trade is moving, there's a money-making opportunity. So the first myth to bust is that there's one stock that's particularly better than another. Now, I mean, it's kind of true. Yeah, you have a stock like Tesla, it does one thing. Last year, Lulu did some extraordinary stuff. NVIDIA has been extraordinary the last couple of years. You know, you have some stocks that just move really, really big. But the truth is some of our most profitable trades are on stocks that most people aren't spending nearly as much time thinking about as some of those big names that I just listed. And the reality is just as long as the stock is moving, as long as it's got volatility, it's going up and down, you can make money with it if you follow these 3 keys I'm going to share with you right now. So I call this the 3 keys to trading profitably. By the way, this is the foundation of my entire trading system right here. This is the foundation of all of it. So whenever I teach you guys to trade, for those of you who come over and become an Inner Circle member, or even just a Trading Academy member over at my website at Trade Maestro, this is the foundation of what I'm going to teach you. Okay, so this is kind of giving you, kind of pulling the curtain back, if you will, and give you an insight to it. All right, so here's the first part. The first part of trading profitably is to learn to do your analysis. That is, determine the direction of the trade. This is the first and most important piece of trading profitable. Determine the direction of the trade, and the only way to do that is to learn your analysis. The second step is to apply the right strategy, and this is how we play it. Once you've done the analysis, it's how do we play it? What is our playbook? What's our strategic approach to this trade now that we know which direction it's going? And then finally, the third step to trading profitably is to manage your risk. It's risk management. And this is simply, how do you keep your capital? How do you avoid going broke? Okay? And that's it right there. Those are the 3 keys to trading profitably. Now, I want to go a little bit deeper here and kind of unpack these just a little bit. I'm not going to go into great detail because if I did that, then we would be here for, quite a little bit of time. Now, you can watch some of my free challenges, my 3-day challenges, and various content that I put out. And I do go into much more details on this. But for this video, I just want to give you the 3 keys and kind of help you get started knowing what it takes to trade profitably. Okay, so this is exactly what I teach my private coaching clients, people who pay me several $1,000s to sit down and work with them one-on-one. I literally go through the same process with them. Okay, so the first step is analysis. When we get together and we do our coaching, we work on analysis first. This answers the question of direction. Are we going up? Are we going down? Are we going sideways? That's it. Okay, this is the entire outcome. If you can answer that question, stocks can only go 3 directions, up, down, and sideways. And it's not just stocks, crypto, Forex, futures. Every trade you will ever look at can only go 3 directions, up, down, and sideways. It is your job to know which direction it's going. So how do we do that? We start with the trend. We start with a trend. The easiest tool in the world to use for that is your moving average. There are other tools that you can use, but I usually teach people to use their moving averages for that because it's just a great trend identification tool. So start with a trend. Are we going up? Are we going down? Are we going sideways? And then we use our other analysis tools to confirm the direction of the trade. So that's going to be things like your technical indicators, your candlestick patterns, your chart patterns, all of that kind of stuff. That's all going to come into the confirmation piece. But the beginning of answering this question for analysis, the beginning of that is all tied in with your trend. So now that we've done the analysis, now that we go through the process, now you pick the direction. And once you know the direction, that's literally 90% of the trade right there. Now I know the direction. That's the hardest part right there, which is why I spend an unbelievable amount of time teaching people analysis, because this is the hardest part. It just is. Now, you'll notice what's not on this list. I'm not talking about fundamentals. I'm not talking about earnings reports. I'm not talking about who's running the company. I'm not talking about the economy. And by the way, this whole process, I can teach you guys to do this in about 10 to 15 minutes per stock. So if you're sitting there at home reading all these reports about companies, agonizing whether you should buy it or not, trying to figure out how you do analysis, you've probably been doing it wrong. Most people, when they come to me and I start teaching them how to trade like this, most people are spending hours, if not days or weeks, analyzing a company, trying to figure out if they want to buy it. I can show you how to do that in 10 minutes, okay? And so that's what we do in this process. Now, once you have the analysis, we move to the next process. But I want to really emphasize how important this step is. Analysis is the number one step, and this is the number one step that people mess up. And then what happens is, because they didn't really do good analysis, they get bad results, and then they give up because they think, oh, well, the market's rigged. Oh, I can't trade against the hedge funds because they're out there manipulating everything. Or they have all these stories about what they can't do. And the truth is, they just didn't do good analysis to begin with. I mean, I'll work with some people and we'll pull up their charts and I'll say, okay, what trade did you get into? They pull it up and I say, why did you get into that? It was clearly, dropping like a tank. And their response will be, well, such and such on CNBC said it would be good. Or their response is, well, the outlook will look really promising. It didn't matter what the outlook looked to be. It didn't matter what such and such on CNBC said. What is your analysis? You got to learn how to do the analysis, and you got to learn how to pick the direction for the trade and do it with confidence. Now, I will also say this. When you learn the process and you really know how to do your analysis, you should be able to pick the next direction for that trade with about a 75 to 80, maybe 85% consistency. That means 75 to 80% of the trades that you set up and you do your directional picks on should go in the direction that you identify. Okay, not every trade will do it. It's just, that's the nature of the market. But if you're sitting here thinking it's a 20% win rate or 50%, that's not true at all. You should be somewhere in that 70, 75%, maybe 80%. Okay. Second step, once you've learned how to pick the direction, the second step is the strategy. And this is, again, like I said before, it's how you play it, or also I call it your playbook. And there's a lot of different ways. This is where it gets really fun. This is where trading becomes really, really fun. Once you know the direction, strategy is easy. And I mean, it is unbelievably easy. And like I say, it's a lot of fun. So if you're just trading stock, your choices are long and short. If you're just trading crypto, your options are long and short. Really, with crypto, it's mostly just long, because even though there's some places where you can short crypto, it's not really worked its way into that market substantially yet. So most people for crypto are just going to be like, is it the right time to buy? And that's kind of the question to answer there. But with your stock trades, your futures trades, your Forex trades, the question is long or short. And then, of course, you can design strategies around that for short-term strategies, longer-term strategies, etc. But just a very basic trade of long or short. If you're an options trader, if you want to be an options trader, you have a lot of strategies you can work with. So once you've identified the direction, it opens up the entire options playbook. I mean, we can go deep. The average, if you really look at a book of options strategies, let's get in front of the camera. It's about that thick right there. So that's about 2 inches if you can't see my fingers. So lots and lots of strategic options for options. It made no sense. Strategic choices for options. But again, it becomes very, very simple once we know the direction. Now, if the market's moving sideways, if you identify that your trade's going sideways, you're almost always going to want to look at option selling strategies. Those are the strategies that work extraordinarily well in a sideways market. Okay. What I want to say about strategy is this is the eye candy. This is what everybody gets distracted with. They always want to go straight to the strategy. I remember one of the first big courses that I paid for when I was learning to trade. I paid like $8,000 for this course. And the way they advertised it was 14 strategies to beat the market. And I was like, wow, 14 ways. It's amazing. And it's amazing, here it's been all these years. That was 20 years ago. And, still everybody just wants a strategy. What's the hot strategy? Well, you know what? I can give you a lot of strategy, but it all starts with the analysis. And that's what they didn't teach in that class, by the way. What they didn't teach us how to do was how to do analysis. And that's why most people who went through their program ended up losing a ton of money, because no one taught them how to trade. They just taught them a bunch of strategies. All right, moving on. Third key, the third key I've mentioned to you is risk management. This is going to start with your trading plan. And your trading plan is basically where you get into the trade, where you get out of the trade for a profit, or where you get out of the trade for a loss. One of those two is going to have to happen. So you get in and you trade it to the target, or you get out for a loss. Now, once we have those three pieces of information, your entry, target, and your stop, once we have those three pieces of information, now we go into the risk management piece of capital preservation. And there's a couple of things to know about this. There's really three pieces to this. Number one is your risk per trade. Risk per trade, how much are you going to take for that? Number two piece of this is the way you're going to allocate that. That is how many trades you're going to take overall with your account. So you're going to diversify it out and allocate it. And then the third piece of that is sizing your scale, or scaling your sizing. That made no sense. It's scaling your allocations, basically. So those three pieces coming together is how we manage the capital piece. And when you do it right, I guarantee you, you will never go broke. And never have I worked with somebody, or have I in my own life followed this system of capital preservation and gone broke. Before I did. I blew out about 4 trading accounts before I figured this process out. And I've worked with lots and lots of people who've blown out the trading accounts. So this is the opposite of that. This is how you guarantee that you're going to stay in the game for a really, really long time, really forever. There's no reason to go broke trading the market on any type of a market, whether it's futures, Forex, options, stock, crypto. There's no reason to lose a bunch of money and go broke. And yet people do it every year. Why? Because they don't know how to preserve their capital. They don't know risk management. And I want to say this, as much as I give a hard time to the so-called professionals, the professional fund managers and the people that are managing money, I give them a hard time because they underperform. And the truth is, I think they're terrible at their job. And I've been very public about that. And I've said that for 20 years. But as much as I give them a hard time for that, the one thing that professional fund managers do tend to do really, really well is live to trade another day. And the reason is because they're going to get fired if they don't. They don't get fired if they underperform the market. They get fired if they lose a ton of money. And so this is the one area where you can learn a lot from the so-called professional fund managers, which is how do I scale my trades? How do I take appropriate risk? How do I not over leverage? That stuff, okay? And so risk management is the third key to never going broke. It's the third key to trading the market for a profit. Listen, I promise you, if you will learn to do these things, if you'll learn to do these things that I've just mentioned to you, not only can you trade for a profit, you'll beat the market, and you're going to discover that there's more money-making opportunities in the market every day than you could do in an entire lifetime. But you got to break it down. You got to break it down and keep it simple. It truly can be as simple as 1, 2, 3. Do the right analysis, apply the right strategy, do the right risk management. And if you do that, then you're going to be far, far ahead, and you're going to have some really, really great times in the market. Failure to do that will leave you on the other side. You'll be miserable, and you'll start to think to yourself, is the market rigged? Is everybody just working against me? Is it because of the big boys? Is it because of the deep state is manipulating the market? And you start to go a little crazy. Put the tinfoil hat on. It's not you, it's them. Right? No, it's you, actually. It's actually you. And it comes down to those 3 steps. Do the right analysis, do the right strategy, do the right risk management. And when you do those 3 things, you can absolutely beat the market. And you can do it with great confidence and frankly, have a lot of fun doing it. All right, you want to know the next step? Obviously, I would love for you to become an Inner Circle member with me over at Trade Maestro. I'm sure you're probably not ready for that yet because you're probably just meeting me here either on Facebook or YouTube or one of our social outlets, or maybe someone sent this to you. Maybe it's on our blog, whatever. But what would be a really great natural next step for you is to come join us for one of our challenges, such as our 3-day Raging Profits with ETF challenge. This is a very simple introductory challenge where you're going to learn a lot about our trading systems, and you're going to learn some ideas that you can apply to your 401k, your IRA, whatever kind of account you're trading. As long as it's an account that you have access to and you can determine determine where the money is going and where the trades are being allocated, this is going to be an extraordinary program for you. It's a very simple, I call it a 3-day challenge, but the truth is it's only 3 hours. I mean, it's 3 1-hour sessions, and it's a really great introductory to how we teach people, and it's free. So you have no reason to not do it. So that's what you need to do right now. Click below, get yourself signed up for that. There'll be a link somewhere here where you can sign up for that. Or you can go over to trademaestro.com and sign up for a different challenge if you don't want to take this one. And that'll give you a really good introduction into the next steps of applying these 3 steps of what it takes to beat the market and pray. Well, you can pray too, but trade. That's the word I was looking for. To trade for a profit. See, if you mix trade and profit together, you get prayed. What it's going to take to trade for a profit and to beat the market. All right. Hope you guys got a lot out of this. If you have not liked and subscribed or followed whatever it is here on the platform that you're watching this, please do so right now. Like, subscribe, follow, share, do whatever it takes so you can help us out, and just share the message. We're trying to help people get better. Just get better at their trading, get better at everything they do. All right. Until next time, folks, happy trading to all of you. We'll talk to you soon.